Hey, welcome. So today we're going to dive into two really powerful but also really different ways of looking at reality. We've got modern science on one side and the ancient Indian philosophy of Sankhya on the other. We're going to see how one is all about mapping the universe out there, while the other, it's about mapping the universe that's inside of us. You know, science has given us these incredible tools to figure out how everything works, right? From distant galaxies down to our own brain cells. But there's this one huge question it often just skips over, and that is, who or what is the one actually experiencing all this? That simple question right there is the key to everything we're about to unpack.
To even begin to answer that, we have to look at reality from two totally different angles. First, there's the world of things we can see, touch, and measure. That's the observed. But then there's that silent, constant presence that's just aware of it all, the observer. Literally every single experience you've ever had is a mix of these two things.
Okay, so first up, let's look through a lens we're all pretty familiar with, modern science. And if we think about our experience of reality as being like a movie, then science is, without a doubt, the ultimate tool for studying the film itself. You know, every single frame, every character, every special effect.
At its core, science is the study of the observed world. It just is. Neuroscience, for example, it looks at the chemical reactions in your brain when you feel angry. Psychology studies your behaviors. Physics is digging into the absolute bedrock laws of the universe. It's all focused on the object side of things.
But here's where it starts to get a little bit weird. Science itself actually shows us that our day-to-day experience is, well, basically an illusion. That solid table you might be sitting at, turns out it's almost entirely empty space. And the tiny particles that make up everything, they're not even solid things. They're more like waves of possibility. Even the color red isn't really out there. Your brain literally creates it. So science is telling us the movie isn't at all what it seems. Okay, so if science studies the movie, then what studies the screen that the whole thing is playing on? Well, for that, we're going to turn to our second lens, the ancient philosophy of Sankhya, which was pioneered thousands of years ago by a sage named Maharishi Kapil. Sankhya is a system that was designed to do one thing, and do it exceptionally well. Understand the nature of the one who is experiencing everything. It's not really interested in what you're seeing. It's interested in the nature of the seeing itself. It basically turns the camera around, away from the world and onto the one who's watching. And at its heart, Sankhya is surprisingly simple. It says that everything in existence, everything, can be split into two basic principles. On one side, you've got Purusha. That's pure, unchanging consciousness, the silent witness. It doesn't do anything, it just is. And on the other side, you've got Prakriti, which is, well, it's literally everything else. Your body, your thoughts, your feelings, the entire physical universe. That's all Prakriti. There's this line from the ancient Upanishads that just nails it. You are the seer, not the seen. Think about that for a second. Your thoughts, your feelings, the sensations in your body, all of those things are seen. They come and they go. But the seer, that deep core awareness, that's always there.
All right, let's go back to our movie analogy for a second, because it's really the perfect way to wrap your head around this pretty profound idea.
So your consciousness, your true self, or Purusha, is like the cinema screen. It's always there, it's perfectly still, pure, and totally unaffected. Prakriti is the movie that's playing on it, this non-stop drama of thoughts, emotions, and everything you see and hear. A really sad scene in the movie doesn't make the screen itself sad, right? And an explosion on screen doesn't damage the screen? The screen just allows the movie to play out.
Now, for thousands of years, these two approaches, science studying the movie and Sankhya studying the screen, they seemed like they were on completely different planets. But then, in the 20th century, something pretty incredible happened that started to bring them together. As physicists started peering deeper and deeper into the very nature of matter, into the fabric of the movie itself, they discovered a paradox, a puzzle that those ancient sages probably would have recognized in an instant.
It's called the observer effect. And in the totally bizarre world of quantum mechanics, it turns out that subatomic particles exist as just waves of pure potential, until they're observed. The very act of looking at something, of measuring it, forces it to snap into a definite state. The observer, as it turns out, is not separate from the system at all.
And this is exactly where these two paths meet. This modern scientific idea that a conscious observer is somehow essential to reality is just a stunning echo of what Sankhya has been saying all along, that Prakriti, the material world, it only dances and unfolds in the presence of Purusha,
the conscious observer.
So, why does any of this actually matter to you and me in our daily lives? Because this isn't just some abstract theory. Understanding this distinction is one of the most practical tools you can possibly have for navigating the chaos of modern life. It's the key to realizing you are not your thoughts.
And look, you don't have to take my word for it, or the word of some ancient sages, or even quantum physicists. You can actually run this experiment for yourself in your own personal laboratory.
The practice is really simple. It's just mindfulness or meditation. When you sit quietly, the first thing you notice is the movie, that endless, chattering stream of thoughts and feelings. That's prakriti. But if you just keep watching, you start to notice the screen, that quiet, stable awareness in the background that's effortlessly watching it all happen. That's purusha. You get to experience for yourself that you are the screen, not the chaotic movie playing on it.
And that brings us to our final and maybe our most important question. If your true nature is this vast, unchanging, peaceful screen, then what movie are you choosing to project onto it every single day? What story are you allowing to play? The choice, ultimately, is yours.